Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today, Harrow Incorporated H.R.O.W just filed their current report for the 18th of June 2026, and I am seeing a clear picture of how investor sentiment is shaping up. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. The company held its annual meeting, and while most things were routine, the voting results tell a story about how shareholders feel about the current leadership and strategy. So Harrow Incorporated, a company in the healthcare and drug manufacturing space, as many of you know, had its 2026 annual meeting of stockholders on the 18th of June. The big takeaway here is how the shareholders voted on key proposals. First up, the election of directors. 4 nominees were put forward to serve on the board of directors. Looking at the numbers, it seems like the majority of shareholders are indeed supporting the current board. For Mark L. Baum, there were over 18.7 million. For votes, with about 2.2 million withheld votes, Adrian L. Graves, Lauren P. Silvernail, and Perry J. Sternberg all saw even higher, 4 votes, with their withheld numbers remaining relatively low, around 1.5 million each. This indicates a solid endorsement of the leadership team from the voting shareholders. Next, the advisory vote on executive compensation. This is where things get a little more interesting. While the proposal to approve the compensation of the company's named executive officers was passed, the numbers show a notable split. We saw about 18 million votes for this proposal, but also close to 2.4 million votes against it. That is a significant chunk of shareholders expressing some dissatisfaction or concern over how the executives are being paid. It is not a rejection, far from it, but it is a signal that not everyone is fully on board with the current compensation structure. Finally, the ratification of auditors. The company put forward Deloitte and Touch LLP as its independent registered public accounting firm for the fiscal year ending the 31st of December 2026. Here, the vote was overwhelmingly in favor, with over 28.5 million votes for ratification and only a little over 1.2 million votes against. This shows strong confidence in the auditing firm and, by extension, in the company's financial reporting processes. What is most striking here is the very low number of abstain votes, signaling that shareholders are making a clear choice on this matter. Now let's connect these voting results to what is happening with Harrow Incorporated more broadly. Looking at recent news, there has been some mixed sentiment. Some reports indicate institutional investors like Opali Management Inc. and BlackRock Inc. are top holders, suggesting significant institutional backing. However, there was news about the Grow Small Cap Equity Fund covering its position in Q1, which can sometimes signal a shift in institutional strategy or a belief that the stock has reached its target. Also, Harrow Inc. stock fell on Q1 2026 earnings earlier this year, which might be contributing to the advisory votes against executive compensation. Shareholders are often watching executive pay closely when the company's financial performance isn't meeting expectations. So, what does this all mean for Harrow Incorporated? The board election results suggest stability and shareholder confidence in the current leadership's direction. However, the advisory vote on executive compensation, while passed, shows a segment of shareholders are paying close attention to how the company's financial health translates into executive rewards. The strong ratification of the auditors points to a solid foundation in financial oversight. My biggest concern is the split on executive compensation, which could signal underlying issues with performance metrics or shareholder expectations that might need addressing to avoid future dissent. This is the kind of nuanced feedback that keeps companies accountable. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my take. Stay decoded. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps. And subscribe for more deep dives. Join our Discord community by checking the description.